You're listening to the Patenting for Inventors podcast with registered patent attorney, Dr. Adam Diamond, founder of Diamond Patent Law, the #1 source for securing your intellectual property needs. Now, here's your host, Adam Diamond.
Hello and welcome to the Patenting for Inventors podcast, episode 65, How to Revive Abandoned Patents and Patent Applications. My name is Dr. Adam Diamond, a registered patent attorney and founder and owner of Diamond Patent Law in Los Angeles, California. I can be contacted through my website at diamondpatentlaw.com, that's D-I-A-M-E-N-T, patentlaw.com, or if that's too hard to remember, you can get to it through patentingforinventors.com, that's patentingforinventors.com, or call me at 424-281-0162. And while most attorneys can only practice in states where they're members of that state's bar, patent attorneys are actually allowed to practice patent law in any state. So feel free to contact me regardless of where you live. In the last few episodes, I went over responding to final rejections and the various options. I covered the very basics of that, so you have some familiarity with the process. But I'm going to go on to an entirely different topic now, which is about reviving patents and patent applications. Let's talk about reviving patent applications first. Now, why might your patent application go abandoned? The most common reason that this will happen is that you get a rejection from the patent office for your application, and on the top of the rejection, it will usually say that you have 3 months to respond to the rejection, or an additional 3 months if you want to pay late fees. So what happens if you don't respond by that additional 3-month period? What happens is that your patent application goes abandoned. Now, maybe you don't care because you wanted to go abandoned. Maybe you felt that it wasn't pursuing anymore, but maybe you just forgot about the deadline and it was a big mistake. So now what do? If you look on the internet about patent applications and patent revivals, you might get some bad information because the rules changed a few years ago. It used to be that there were 2 different scenarios, and it mattered if you abandoned unintentionally, like you forgot a deadline, but you really meant to keep it active, or unavoidably, like maybe your patent attorney died, or the inventor died, and the right person didn't get the information that your application had a response date, and you'd have to figure out how to word things, whether it was unintentional or unavoidable. It used to be that there was a 2-year deadline to rectify an unintentional abandonment, but if it was more than 2 years, then the reason has to be unavoidable. Now the good news is that you don't have to worry about those differences anymore. Now there is no time limit to revive a patent or patent application. There's no 2-year period. You can revive your patent or application at any time under the unintentional standard. Even though the unintentional standard is lower than the unavoidable standard, because it's easier to argue that you unintentionally forgot to pay some fee or you didn't respond to an office action than to say it was unavoidable. Still, you don't want to do this if you don't have to, because if it ever comes up in litigation that your patent application went abandoned and then you revived it, you can be sure that opposing counsel is going to be looking for any documentation you might have where you said, I think I'm going to let this go abandoned. This is why I would rarely recommend anyone filing any document with the patent office, specifically telling the patent office that you're intentionally abandoning an application. There are really only rare circumstances where you should do this, and you don't want any paper trail showing that the abandonment was intentional. The good news about revival is that it's pretty easy to do. Basically, you do a form. It's called a petition for revival of an application for abandoned patent unintentionally. It's form PTO SB 64. You basically put in your name, the application number, the title, and you pay some money. There are a few fees that apply. One is the petition fee. It's either $500, $1,000, or $2,000, depending on if you're a micro, small, or large entity. You have to pay either the reply fee or the issue fee. Maybe there's some other late fees that never got paid even before your application went abandoned, so you have to pay those as well. You also need to submit your response to the last thing the patent office sent you. So besides paying the fees, if the last thing the patent office sent you was a rejection based on obviousness, then you have to submit your reply to the office action. You might have to file a terminal disclaimer, but that only applies to applications filed before 1995 or design patent, so most likely that probably doesn't apply to you. You can do the forms directly online through the patent office website, and it should be automatically granted. You do have to check a box declaring that it was unintentional. Your application should automatically be revived after you electronically sign and submit the payment. What I talked about so far was reviving an abandoned application, but you also might want to revive an expired patent. Remember that patents can generally last only 20 years from the filing date, but you have to pay maintenance fees along the way at the 3.5, 7.5, and 11.5 year mark, or else your patent will expire earlier if you don't pay. I had a whole episode on maintenance fees if you want to go back and listen to that. If you don't pay at the time, your patent expires. If you forget a maintenance fee, you can file a petition to revive it by paying the maintenance fee and submitting a petition and petition fee. Currently, the fee is also either $500, $1,000, or $2,000, depending on if you're a micro, small, or large entity. The petition is called a petition to accept unintentional delayed payment of maintenance fee in an expired patent. There used to be a form called PTO SB 66, but you can do it directly on the Patent Office website when paying maintenance fees. Besides the added fee that you have to pay, you have to also pay the maintenance fee that you missed. So the good news is that it's pretty easy to revive patents and patent applications if you unintentionally let them go abandoned or the patent expired. The bad news is if you're on the other side of this. Let's say you have a product and you want to see if there are any patents. You look around and you see either an abandoned application or expired patent and you think you're good. Then you start producing this product and all of a sudden the person that the abandoned application, who it belongs to, revives it. So now you're infringing their patent when you thought it was safe for you to do it. These are sometimes called zombie patents because they were dead patents and now they're alive, just like real zombies. Now, if you thought the patent was dead and you started making and selling the product in good faith that there were no active patents or applications, and someone revives their patent and sues you, you can have what are called intervening rights. So technically, you shouldn't get in trouble for that, but it can be a pain and expensive to try to prove everything that you did as a defense for patent infringement, because only a court can grant intervening rights, and it's possible that the court might require you to pay royalties once the patent has been revived, for future payments. There could be all sorts of other scenarios that happen, and it's just tough to predict how your situation will play out if you have to deal with a zombie patent. So, in sum for the episode, if your application or patent goes abandoned, but only unintentionally, you can revive it by just paying some money and responding to any outside requests for the application or the patent. And that's about it for reviving patents and patent applications. If you want help with your patent application, responding to rejections, appeals, or anything else related to your invention, you can contact me through my website at patentingforinventors.com. That's patentingforinventors.com, or call me at 424-281-0162. I'm Adam Diamond, and until next time, keep on inventing.
Thanks for listening to the Patenting for Inventors podcast with host Adam Diamond. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and review on iTunes. The contents of this podcast are intended for general informational purposes only. The facts of every legal matter are unique, and the content of this podcast should not be construed as offering legal advice for your specific legal situation. For more information and help with your own intellectual property needs, contact Adam Diamond at patentingforinventors.com. That's patentingforinventors.com. Or call Diamond Patent Law at 424-281-0162. The preceding information may be considered an attorney advertisement and does not establish any attorney-client relationship.